All right. Chat room, let us know when you can see and hear us. And I'll put it in here. Tweet it out. Here we go. Hey, Max says we are live. You can see and hear us. Thank you, Max. We appreciate that.
Oh, you know what? Okay, hold on. Just changing notes here. Habitat. And then I'll do I'm there.
Okay. I have tweeted and retweeted and all the Discord stuff, so I think we are good to go. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. So basically, the stuff's in parentheses.
Yeah, I see it. You're good. You are good. All right. Well, then let's get the show on the road. We have stuff to do, people to see, ships to sail, all that. All right. Going in 5, 4. On this episode of the AIE Podcast,
ESO rolls the Dragon Bones.
Season 13 of Diablo is upon us.
Get ready for Gusty's Transmog Trial of Style.
Captain Hunter makes his triumphant return to Star Trek Online.
And we have Hoots and a very special emphasis on the special guest.
All that and more coming up right now. Insert show theme here. All right. Welcome to episode 293 of the podcast celebrating the Alia Iacta Est gaming community. The Die Has Been podcast. This is Tetsemi, and to my left and upstairs is McCullough.
Hey guys, there's sticky toffee pudding in the guild kitchen.
Yummy. And Mew Cow will be in shortly. Something about a backyard playscape being scattered around the neighborhood. We're not quite
sure. Or they're buying one. I'm not sure.
Who knows? He's off on some real life adventure, but he should be here shortly. All right. And this week, we are joined by Hoots and a mystery guest who are here to talk to us about the fine art of seafaring.
What?
Welcome. Hey guys, it's been a while. This is Hoots, and
hi Hoots.
Yeah, absolutely. As most of the listeners on the show today know, maritime history, it goes back thousands of years. I mean, the first prehistoric boats are presumed to have been dugout canoes. They were developed independently by various Stone Age populations. And in order to talk about this today, I had to bring in a very special expert on the matter. And I don't know, I think he's coming in on the line. Is my expert on seafaring there with us?
Oh, hi. I'm Mike Ferris. How are you?
Now fearing how long my show's going to go. That's how I am.
Great. I have Link Ferris here to help us talk about seafaring and maybe a little bit of internet spaceships. We'll see.
Okay, cool. Is anything going to blow up spectacularly is what I want to know.
It already has.
Yeah, I see
this. Is this Mythbusters? And for those of you listening to the podcast and not watching it, Lank is dressed very dapperly in a captain's hat and a button-down, nice vest with a tucked-in handkerchief and the pipe and all the accoutrements of being a seafaring captain. So,
is he wearing pants?
I can truly attest I am not wearing any pantaloons.
This is good.
Okay.
So, Hoots, what have you been up to in or out of game? I know you have been very busy, I think, in real life, and gaming has kind of been on the wayside.
I've been a little busy in real life. Certainly at the end of the year and then into January, that is sort of a work black hole that I usually fall into. Come around February, I started to get out of that a little bit. And now a new expansion for Stellaris came out, and there's this little game, gosh, I'm going to get it wrong, Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is this really super hardcore, realistic simulating type RPG that came out, and my life is pretty much consumed by both of those things.
Gotcha. Very cool. And Lank, what have you been up to? Oh,
and I have an announcement that Mew is on his way.
Okay, awesome. So Lank, in less than 2 minutes, what have you been up to?
2 minutes, go. Okay, so graduate school, trying to get a job, got a job, avoiding paying like financial aid because screw that.
Who has time?
Exactly. Yeah.
Trying to get gainful employment, got gainful employment. So yeah, as for gaming wise, all I've really had the chance to really play with is play like a couple of games on the Switch, and of course on my Xbox, because I can jump in and jump out and jump in and jump out. Because after graduating and being technically unemployed, I was pretty busy. But now I'm like, had to re-enter the realm of like responsible adulthood. So henceforth, I now have a way to pay for my incredible need to blow up spaceships and run around dressed like a leisurely man of the sea.
Awesome.
And McCullough, what have you been up to?
So my normal pen and paper stuff. Let's see. Monday night's back in swing. We're almost done with the Mines of Landerer, whatever you pronounce it. And then our new fledgling DM is going to actually jump into homebrew stuff.
Yay!
So
which is awesome.
Which is kind of fun. Our Friday night.
I have to interrupt.
Yeah.
By homebrew, are you talking beer, or are you talking like the true drink?
No, she says she's taking a D&D module, and basically it inspired her to create her own world, change the pantheon up, and write her own adventures. So she went from first-time DM of I'm going to run this module to straight off the deep end into world building.
Let me make my own
creation.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. For a moment there, I misheard, and I heard like homebrew, and I'm like, "Are you making mead?" So,
I wish.
Can I come over?
Yeah.
Because mead being a true like hero's drink.
True.
Hey, Lank, can you bump your audio up just a little bit? Max says you are coming in a little low.
Will do.
Cool.
Thank you. All right.
That's that. Friday night, our little now 0 level characters have chosen their professions. So they've gone from 15th level to 0 level. And they're about to start on their new paths. And Saturday night, kind of dealing with an aftermath of a big battle, which is in our werewolf game. And our occasional mage game is getting really interesting, though the last 2 sessions in a row, my character has ended in a really bad place. I'm hoping to not have that happen this week.
That makes just interesting storytelling, right?
It does. Oh, and we actually played some SOTOR the other day.
We did. We got our character started. I got my... Yep. Go ahead.
Oh, no. So Ted and I are doing about an hour and a half SOTOR in theory each week. Didn't get to play this weekend, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll get it in maybe tomorrow. So we're doing the character stories. We're doing them together, but we're doing separate classes.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yep.
And I think you got the better end of the deal so far because you're with Havoc Squad and I got my ship stolen. So we'll see where that goes.
This is very true.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing?
A little bit of Star Wars with you. Like I said, I'm playing a gunslinger to complement your trooper, and we're both viewing each other's stories. The class only pieces of it, so we can kind of see both stories. That's really fun. I have been, other than that, I have been mainly focusing on Cataclysm content in World of Warcraft. Go figure. When they introduced the allied races in the 735 patch, those start at level 20 if you don't want to pay the money to do the race change. And so I am doing the level them from level 20 to level 110 to get the heirloom armor. And I have my Nightborn mage through. She's at 60 right now and sitting in Northrend. And now I'm working on my arms warrior, who's at 51 or 52, going through, just finished up the Badlands and is headed into one of the big lava areas with all the ogres and the iron dwarves. So I'm going through that now. And then I'm probably going to take the Tauren into, even though you can skip it now, I'm probably going to take the Tauren through Outland so I can actually do a complete level through Outland, and take my mage through Northrend because I can do Northrend, both classes, for 60 to 80. So, yeah, I've been
now
working
I have
on
a
that.
dumb question.
Go ahead.
As someone who still has an active World of Warcraft subscription, mostly because I'm an idiot and haven't canceled it.
Yeah.
So, like, are the new races available yet, or
Yeah.
Huh? Oh.
They what you have to do is you have to buy the expansion. You have to pre-order the expansion, and then you have to be 110, and you have to meet certain requirements for the 4 allied races. So with the Nightborn, you have to have completed the Nightborn storyline up through Insurrection, and basically that gets you exalted with them. The High Mountain Torn are a lot easier because it's basically go complete High Mountain and become exalted with the High Mountain. The Void Elves on the Alliance side, you have to be exalted with one of the new factions on Argus, and then the Light Forged, you have to be Army of the Light on Argus as well. You have to be exalted. So and I would assume right now there's a little bit of a gate, but we don't know if Blizzard is going to keep that requirement once the expansion actually launches. If this is like a, hey, pre-order, and if you've been playing the game, you get the jump start on the allied races. If you don't want to have to do all that, they may pull back the restrictions once the XPAX is launched. So we'll see.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes total sense, and it was something that I keep up-ish on WoW News, but that totally slipped my radar.
Yeah.
So we do have a announcement. Someone just popped into the channel. Hey Mew.
Hey Mew, what have you been up to in or out of game?
Allegedly. Well, in or out of game. Well, I mean, in real life news, I was a little late because I just scored a backyard playground for X. So that was why I was a little delayed today.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yep. Got a good deal on it too. But in more exciting gaming news, probably been spending most of my time, interestingly enough, in ESO. With that big patch that came out with a kind of, they improved their own leveling experience. Every level gives you some kind of a special little tiny reward, and every 5 levels gives you some kind of really big reward, like a mount or a pet or storage boxes, stuff like that. So I've been spending a lot of time in there, going through the Thieves Guild. That's been a very fun quest line. I think I'm going to do the Dark Brotherhood next, which is the assassination quest line, where you just round killing everyone that you see, that sort of fun stuff.
Yeah, as you do.
But up until then, I'm basically been running around stealing everything I get my hands on. So that's been pretty crazy. Other than that, in WoW, and my heroic team, we managed to get another couple bosses down. So we're slowly making our way through heroic progress.
Yeah.
And
we on Fert hit the Coven wall.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, and the wall comes hitting you back.
Yeah, we got 8 of 11 now. Now we're working on Coven. Once we can get past Coven, hopefully tonight, we'll see. Then we'll do Agrimar and Argus.
So far, my experience is once you get past that Coven wall, you kind of coast through the last two. So that'll be fun.
We'll see.
Yep. And that's mostly been it. I've been poking my head into Final Fantasy, getting the new glamour, the new addition to the glamour system. It's the same system, but they added some new stuff to it. I've been messing around a lot with that. Probably spending too much time on just that. Changing all of my excess clothing into glamour so that I can do fun stuff with that. Because now they have in the Golden Saucer, there's a weekly competition. It's like you know how they had the Trial of Style and WoW. Well, they now have it weekly. So
cool.
So if your outfit match, and it's by an NPC, he's actually looking for certain levels of stuff in your outfit, and he tells you, he gives you hints on what you're supposed to be putting where. And there's some fun stuff that you can get out of that, and it's a weekly thing, and it gives you Golden Saucer points just for participating. So that's been a lot of fun. So
very cool.
That's about it.
All right. Well, we will be digging into Seafaring and Eve shortly, but first let's cover this week's news. AIE News. All right.
All right, to the top of the section. All right, in Imperial Ludi news, we have some ESO stuff. The Dragon Bones update is now live with 2 new dungeons and accompanying new item sets, monster helms, and achievements. There's only a handful of players in ESO these days, but AIE is available in-game, and the channel is active in Discord for those who are interested.
Yep, and the channel is actually quite busy.
Yep.
Which is awesome. Yeah,
no, it's a very surprisingly active little game for something that kind of went quiet for a while and then came back with a vengeance. But in Diablo 3 news, the Season 13 has officially started, and the group of usual suspects are in there doing their thing. Come join them, and it's free to play after all, if you've already bought Diablo 3. But that season is free to play. And there's a new league starting in the Path of Exile this coming Friday. Moving on, this is a new game, Path of Exile, and that is also free to play, and it's a lot of fun. So come on by and give Apolas and someone else a shout. I'm not sure who that someone else is.
I apologize. I forget who gave the update. I think it was Duras that gave the update. So
that makes sense. He's pretty much everywhere.
Apolis, check for Apolis and Duras. All right. And in WoW news, speaking of transmog, Gusty is hosting a transmog swap meet, a WoW event called the Trial of Style, giving away transmog gear. It is March 3rd at 4 p.m. server time and March 4th at 1 p.m. server time. And there is a forum post if you have questions or comments or want to help out. Also, reminder of the upcoming April 1st Fool's Rush In challenge. Do a dungeon or raid on Sunday, April 1st. And your least played spec. Yep, tanks go heals and vice versa if you're a druid. Hunters go survival, which may be a misnomer in this case. Mages go arcane, get to hear the cool stuff your weapon says. The idea is to have fun and make a fool of yourself with friends. And again, we have another forum post if you want to pair up with people, join in with friends, and talk about the event. We had an amazing time with the first annual Ralph's Amazing Race and can't wait to duplicate this in other games. Thanks to Palel and Max for the idea. They originally ran it in Star Wars, and Ralph was so enamored with it, we carried it over to WoW for the February WoW event. And thanks to Cyrene for hosting and cat herding. And also special shout out to Eagle, the quest giver, for taking his own mage portal and giving us all a good laugh. Yeah,
that is awesome.
Yes, and if you want to see pictures and video, there's a forum thread that has that all in the forums. And speaking of good laughs, posted without comment, there is a clip from Twitch featuring one Randy Deluxe because it's Randy. So
it is all right. And in SOTOR news, Escape Pod 239, no roadmap to Taurus. In this episode, AIE SEMA, Max Gray, and Astromech EPC 231 walked through the game update news posted about 5.8 and 5.9 in the Not a Roadmap post that they were finally able to get their playthrough on the surface of Taurus. Updated news for updates 5.8 and 5.9 are now published. They're we're seeing those updates in March and April. This includes the final boss for the Gods of the Machine Operation, conclusion of the Traitor storyline with Flashpoint on Nathmara, and updates to Conquest, among other things. Mandatory Fun Night will be on the pub side this week running Dread Forces, and next week on the imp side running Dread Palace.
And just a brief ranty comment. That was so not a roadmap. It was, hey, here's what we're doing in the next 60 days. That's not even a trail marker. That's a that's a dev update. And yeah. So if you want to hear all about it, listen to the Escape Podcast 231, and Max and Seema kind of go into some of the details on that. So
very cool.
Yep.
Alrighty, in Final Fantasy XIV news, personal housing is once again available. They locked it down to give guilds sort of a first chance at all the new housing they opened up, but now everyone can jump in, so go ahead and dive in and see what you can find. Also, the raid Delta Escape Savage is now available, so those that are into the more serious raiding stuff, go ahead and dive in. And in seasonal event news, Little Deities Day will be starting March 1st, ending March 14th, so about 2 weeks. This year, we'll be continuing the story of the Songbirds, the three idols that are singing from, I believe it's Ul'dah. This year's rewards are a set of concert glow stick lights. And if you've ever seen a Japanese music concert, it's basically just a sea of all of the fans waving these glow sticks in unison, and it's just amazing to watch. So they're emulating that in game if you go through and grab all those rewards. They're also giving away a staircase doll display furniture item for your house, and a music roll with some of the Songbirds music. So that sounds like fun. And then also we want to let everyone know that Goblin, which is where our guild is on the server list, is still considered a what's the term? A recommended server, something along those lines. So it has the Road to 60 buff, which greatly boosts your experience gains until level 60. So if you are still trying to get all those lower level ones leveled up, now's the time. We don't know how long we'll stay as a preferred server, but definitely get in while you can. And as a result, we've welcomed a few new folks to the guild. So please be on the lookout for any new names, and be our usual helpful selves that we're all known to be. And a little note that I also noticed: if you remember, about a year or so ago, there was a special deal with Amazon in Final Fantasy XIV that if you bought qualifying game purchases on Amazon, you would get a free code for a maid and butler outfit for your characters. So it's usual Square Enix style. Like a year or so afterwards, they'll unlock it so that you can then purchase it if you missed out on the deal. So, and that's what happens. So you go ahead and go to the Lodestone and go onto the online store and buy these outfits for your characters. They're pretty snazzy.
Very cool. All right. And in Star Trek Online news, we'd like to welcome back Captain Hunter, who has returned from his hiatus in Star Trek Online, and he is exploring all the new content. He brings with him news that starting in March, you will be able to 3D print your starship. Yes. So if you've ever, if you have your detailed starship and want to get a 3D print of it to have on your desk or on your shelf, there are details in the forum. He's got a link to where to order it through Art Gaming and some other stuff. So check out the forum post. Also, in the Starfleet news, Development Laboratories Rank 3 will be completed midweek. This will allow the purchase of an additional ground reputation trait and a space reputation trait. These will be able to be purchased at the Fleet Science Lab. After this completed, they will begin work on the final upgrade for the science lab. This will be a big project and take a lot of resources. And as always, the fleet has been doing amazing with all the hard work on fleet projects.
Awesome. And we actually have LOTOR news. You'll Feast Encore is happening now through March 4th. It's like second Christmas. Hobnobbigans, which is chicken hockey, starts March 1st and ends March 5th. Hop on Discord if you'd like to coordinate some Hobnobbigans with fellow kin members. In the store, get 20% off instant level 50s, 95s, or 105s through March 1st. Just look for gifts, blessings, or the aria of the Valor.
All right. And with that, let's get back to Hoots and Lank and find out what is going on with AIE in Eve.
Please excuse me as I take over the chat feed and go ahead and
yeah, I see that.
Of Space Music PvP.
There you go.
Because we all know how much of an aficionado I am of really bad music.
Yeah,
this is very true.
So
these are all risky link clicks, by the way. Risky link clicks.
A little bit. What I guess this doesn't play real well on an audio podcast, and it even wouldn't play real well on a video podcast. But I guess no one here can really see me unclicking my mute button, then just kind of having my mouth hang open, like ready to say something, and then going, I got nothing. And it's not that I've got nothing. It's that every time I come on the show, like, things have massively changed or something insane has happened, right? No different this time. So those of you that don't follow AIE and Eve, last you might have heard we were... oh gosh, I should probably look at the show notes, but I'm going to completely ignore them. We were last in a organization called Guardians of the Galaxy. They were a coalition based in the north, and for various reasons, we are no longer in that coalition. Our alliance left, and we have embarked on, I guess, what you could call a little bit of a 3-hour tour. Wouldn't you agree, Lank?
Calling it a 3-hour tour would be putting it really, really mildly. Not because, well, you see, it's one of those rare situations where usually we're the band of happy idiots. Goes in there charging in, not knowing what the hell is going on. And then we find we're now at the situation where the corporation has learned and has wizened and the hive mind has formed. And we're watching our alliance trek from our old ancestral homelands to our new prospective ancestral homelands, and we got our poop together and just sitting there cringing and like covering our faces going, what are you doing, you space noob, as you fed billions and billions and billions of ISK to the hands of people who are hanging around pot-shotting you because you are dumb.
So just to give some concrete examples, our alliance within the past couple of weeks has lost not one but 2 Titan class ships, and Titans are the most expensive ships in the game. And
just for like the give people perspective, the average cost of a Titan is somewhere between, depending on fitting, $3,000 to $6,000 American. Is that correct?
Oh wow!
They've come down a little bit since that figure, but not by much, right? You're still talking about billions of units of the in-game currency, and if you were to do like the cash out from that in-game item called Plex to put real money into the game, it is thousands, plural of dollar, not hundreds.
Yeah,
wow.
It's like maybe 10 grand in real, like, US dollars. Only 10 grand.
Maybe that might be inflated, but regardless, it's a big deal. It's a lot of ISK, and it's unfortunate. And it's on the one hand, one of them was a Ragnarok, which is that's a type of capital you don't really need to know much about it except it's rust colored and looks kind of terrible, and it was really a public service that it was that it was blown up. So there's that.
You should tell them a little bit on the details of how it got destroyed.
Okay, so in EVE Online, kind of like in World of Warcraft or any other of your MMO, you have groups that you can join up and do your various things that you do in the game. In EVE, rather than groups of 5 people, you have fleets, which can be anywhere from 2 people to 255 people, right? And you join fleets to kind of coordinate doing the various things that you do in EVE, which is mostly smack talking and local. But in one of the functions of a fleet is you can have a person in control of the fleet warp other people in the fleet to predetermined spots or things like that. So we had a Titan pilot. Was this on Saturday or was it on Friday? It seems like so long ago, but it was Friday night. And he had logged in and there was a bit of a move up prepared to move him. So basically we are all at this massive choke point in the galaxy waiting to move from one gate to another that basically has hostile entities in between. And one of our Titan pilots logged in. They were chatting with their corp mates, and a bad dude sent a fleet or like a party invitation to this Titan pilot. And while they were typing, they hit enter and accepted the fleet invitation and then got warped to where the bad dudes are. And that was it. That was the end. Game over for our Titan pilot. And it was a terrible mistake. And like, I don't want to actually. These are our alliance mates that we've flown with for about maybe about 3 years now, and they're all great people. I have nothing terrible to say about Blades of Grass, and that was a really tragic and unfortunate mistake. And well, Space Pixels exploded. Rip.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I'm not really upset about it.
It's like the moral of the story. Just be careful when you press the enter button.
Well, we've since put together some documentation for Titan pilots on how to turn auto invitation to fleets off.
Good idea.
That's like a useful pro tip to not accept automatic fleet invitations. So yeah, it's been a little bit slower moving than I thought it would be, but it's okay. The corp is fine. We haven't lost a thing because we haven't done anything stupid, and I am slowly kind of rearranging things and putting things into motion that will get our stuff moved. It just might take a little bit longer than everyone would hopefully like. So I think that about sums up where we are as a corporation in EVE. I guess we should probably highlight some of the changes that have happened to the game, and then maybe I'm going to circle back around to the new place that we're moving to and some of the folks and personalities there. One of the changes I did want to highlight, you might remember last year or maybe a year and a half ago, EVE went kind of free to play, or has that limited alpha clone model where you can sign up for a free account and play the game and basically not have very many restrictions. On December 5th, so a couple of months now ago, the ability of those free accounts, they can fly more types of spaceships now. They can fly up to battleships. So basically any class of ship in the game that isn't a capital. And that's something I wanted to bring up. Just because of one of the new places where we're moving to has specifically a group of people that are alpha clones. And there was, I guess, some theory crafting and fancy maths that went into a group of combat effective pilots that are free accounts. So if you've been looking to join, but don't want to pay money and want to be effective, we might have something for you.
Ooh, awesome.
Cool.
Do you have a penchant for exploding? We might be your corporation.
Yeah.
But yes.
So I guess the only other thing, really, there was a big update recently to assault frigates. Lank, tell me how you feel about assault frigates.
Assault.
What's your favorite assault frigate?
My favorite assault frigate's the Hawk.
The Hawk. Okay,
The
so
Hawk.
explain for people who don't know what the Hawk is. What is the Hawk, and how would you describe it as a spaceship? Like a Subaru?
Not a Subaru, because no, it's not a space Subaru, and it's not the what is it, the Subaru Blue or the Saturn Blue or whatever. No.
I don't remember.
That's a bad in joke for you.
That is. We shouldn't be making that.
Should not be making that joke. So the Hawk is one of the Caldari assault frigates. It's one of two, and the ship, if you were to look at it, it's a very angular hawk bird-like looking thing.
Tiny ships. They're the smallest classes of ship.
Yes.
Frigates.
But these are overpowered tiny little battle frigates, and they're a lot of fun because they pack an awful lot of firepower for their size. And I have a strange affinity for these ships. It makes me feel feelings I shouldn't feel.
Really? They give you tinglings?
So what Lank missed, because he went to grad school and then went to Job Hunt Mania, he missed an entire cycle of EVE where assault frigates were basically completely irrelevant because they were outclassed by like a completely different class of ship. And now Lank came back. And because he came back, our developers, CCP, decided, let's make assault frigates great again.
Oh, no.
Oh my!
It's like they knew, hey, this Lank guy is coming back,
and he has some weaknesses.
He pays an unhealthy amount of ISK for these ships, and probably the only guy flying them.
Right.
It's like never mind that I actually got into a fight where I solo killed 3 people with one assault frigate after getting dogpiled. It was great. It's great. I had the shakes for 15 minutes. I was just laying there on the ground, just shaking, going, "Wow, I think I need a shower."
Very cool.
So other changes on the horizon. There's the Monitor. The Monitor is a class of ship that is, I want to say that's upcoming in the March release, and it is basically a ship that does absolutely nothing except survive.
Yes.
How do you feel about Monitors, Lank?
So a little bit of background story behind these is that usually, fleets run by fleet commanders, FCs for short. You have 1, 2, maybe 3 people who are coordinated flying these fleets. Actually, running a fleet is very much like if you've ever been in WoW, ever been on a coop run. It's kind of like a free flowing, kind of like stuff is super, super fluid. Things changes all the time. But the problem is that when you don't have that person coordinating the fleet, the whole fleet kind of falls apart. It's called headshotting. Well,
right.
If you're a particular FC of notoriety, the space honorable thing is not to shoot them and kill them right away.
But if you're a coward like me, you're going to say, shoot the FC, take out their leadership. I don't want to deal with these other 250 nerds. Get rid of them.
Yes, because they're going to turn into cats and you start screaming at each other and scratching each other and calling each other horrible, terrible names and besmirch their mothers. But this ship is solely designed to survive a fight so you can't headshot a fleet, which in theory sounds great, Hoots. But that's a pretty ship. And I don't know if I were to fly into a fleet with a Monitor, that's just letting the other guys know, hey, shoot me, for I have this sexy sleek ship. Shoot me. So I don't know if that's going to be terribly effective.
So
sounds like a bait ship to me.
Yeah, that actually might be, I think, a more interesting use for it. Unintended uses.
Right.
Although it can't tackle anything and it can't call in other ships by lighting sinos. It really just exists for survivability. And I was doing a really bad thing and reading our Eve on Reddit, and there were a couple of I know that's
So like reading the comments, don't do it.
Don't do it. And there were a couple of good points that you can't make, like, no matter how survivable you make this ship, it's not survivable enough. Kind of what Lank was saying, it looks like a giant big target. So that will kind of remain and see how survivable these monitor things really are. I'm kind of curious and interested to see unintended uses of them.
I mean, could you
Other
use it
than
for
that,
ratting?
no, because you literally you can't fit any equipment on it.
Okay.
You literally can't do anything to it. It just it's
It's just it's a big blob of metal that
It's-
says,
Yeah.
"Hit me, I'm going to
pretty-
take whatever you can throw at it."
Yeah, it's
Right.
a very pretty thing with supposed a lot of armor supposed. And
Right.
it's like the coach on the sidelines with the little walkie-talkie. You do this and you do that and you do this.
Right.
But the see is that you're dealing with some pretty like a lot of firepower and overwhelming firepower. So how is this tiny little ship going to put up with some of the firepower that's generated by some of the modern fleets you see in E?
Right.
So instead of lasting,
Unless it's a portable citadel,
yeah, so it's like how is a ship that usually will like last 30 seconds? Okay, now it might last 40 seconds. So it's like I like to see how it works out. It's just the great thing about Eve is that the developer gives us these tools, and we just go in and we break it because, like, hey, why not?
Oh yeah. I mean, they give you here's the shiny new toy, throws it in the sandbox, and go, "Wow, we didn't think they were going to do that with that. Maybe we need to fix that."
Yeah, if there's something about the Eve player, it's the fellow who's given a pile of lumber, some nails, and a hammer, and you're told, build a house.
Oh, we're not going to build a house.
Oh no, we're not going to build a house.
No, we're
Build a
definitely not going to
bonfire
build a
that
house.
shoots the nails out.
Yeah.
We're going to build a very long stick with a very long nail and poke you in the butt.
No, or we're going to build like a wooden gun that fires the nails at you or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah.
We're not.
And chewing gum.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Lake, tell me how you feel about the Munin, which is getting a buff in the March release.
Well, there's these ships. They're the assault battle cruisers, I believe the Munin is.
Hmm.
And you see, I have a very strong sense of aesthetic. And this ship just utterly it just poops on my image of what a spaceship should look like.
Mhm.
So remember the Ragnarok, that Titan that I was talking about earlier?
Same
It's the
thing.
same class of ships. They're called Minmatar ships. And
Yes.
I don't remember, did way back when we were in Taxel, when we were just joining and learning to play Eve. Do you remember, did Senile, who's a member of the community, and I know he's still around out in the ether somewhere, did he ever give you the Minmatar field exam?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
And just the visual, the Minmatar visual.
That
exam.
is an ugly.
That is
Ooh,
that is
yeah.
See, it's
That
like
is an
someone
ugly
took
thing.
like an old pirate ship made out of
Mhm.
metal,
Yeah.
chopped up the front, took off the mast, then stuck a bunch of guns on it. It looks like a giant doorstop with weapons.
Yeah.
It is like the
Yeah.
ugliest.
It's not pretty.
Phase up.
See that hurts my soul.
Right.
It hurts. I mean, it's like,
So I am looking for the Minmatar field exam right now, and I think I have found it. And
Oh,
I will
great.
definitely place that in the show notes, and that is linked. And then for people who are listening to us live, I am going to paste this in the general channel, and that link is completely safe for work, but your mission is you need to, in order to buy any Minmatar ships, before you can do that, for that picture that I've just linked, you need to find the cat.
You've got 30
Yeah.
seconds to find the cat, starting now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's horrible.
We'll let you do that in your own time. We don't need to. Actually, you know what? I'm looking, and I don't remember the cat is anymore. Now I'm going to get totally distracted
Right?
trying to
No,
find.
no, where's Waldo on the
where the
podcast? We got about
is.
15 minutes left.
Right.
And there's just something about like each individual like races like aesthetic. You know, like the Caldari are very angular and fierce looking. The Galente looks very polypy and kind of organic and kind of like, well, it looks like something that might have been growing inside of you. It's kind of gross.
No, Galente ships are beautiful.
What?
Tell me that the Nyx and the Thanatos
Are ugly.
respectively are gorgeous.
I do not like the Nyx. I just don't. It looks like a flattened like someone. It just no. I don't not like the ship.
This is a side tangent that because we have 15 minutes, we're going to go down.
I know you
Do you
guys are.
remember what happened? So do you remember how a couple of years ago at FanFest they announced the levitating Nyx?
Oh, the levitating. So they had this announcement of this really. It was a $3,000 model. That was a maglev model with fiber optic lights, and it was really great. You would spin it and says, "Put your deposit down, and you will get one of these things." Well, CCP unfortunately sent out a notice saying, "Hey, everyone, to put in a pre-order for that." It's not going to happen.
Let's be clear. So there had been multiple years and multiple FanFests, which are BlizzCon equivalents, that have passed since that whole deal was made and announced. And it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that the developer sent out a really passive-aggressive note along the lines of, "We don't think that you guys are going to get your stuff anymore, so we have ended our business relationship with
Oh
these
my.
Yeah.
A full refund, but we're sorry. But
Yeah.
So but I digress. So quickly, the Amarans are very the Amaran like art is very like gold plated, very like rounded. I kind of like that.
You would like that. The race, the race of oppression and of wealth and of the 1%. You of all people
Which
would
is hilarious.
absolutely like that.
Yes, I am a space elite. Yes, I have no problem saying that. I like shiny, pretty ships.
Whereas
And theirs are, like,
Minotaur ships,
gold and filigree, and you look at that, and there's like engraving on them, and it's just like, oh, hi, how you doing? Minmatar ships. So the theory is that all Minmatar ships, every Minmatar ship, actually started as part of a Titan, like a Ragnarok, and as it blows up, it breaks into smaller and smaller component ships until you get to the.
And they just stick engines on it, slap a couple of lasers on it. You're good to go.
If you get enough duct tape and like Rust-Oleum, you can actually rebuild your Ragnarok with a number of like Minmatar frigates, and there you go. You can build your own Titan if you collect space garbage.
That's awesome.
Because it's
Minmatar ships are totally fine. They are workmanlike. They are aggressive and practical. They are for the
they're
working
functional.
space capital. Yes,
They're
are functional and they are aggressive and fearsome and great.
They're utterly derpy. And it looks like some space hobo is flying by.
The Rifter.
The ship flies by. Oh, sorry, that was a panel there.
The Rifter is an icon of online. Like Rifter sickles are like, come on, man. And the Rifter sickle, for those of you who are not familiar, is the picture of a Rifter, which is a very iconic looking spaceship in EVE Online, superimposed with literally like the communist sickle, and it's very much like Soviet propaganda imagery. How do you feel that we're joining the Russians, Lang?
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
that's the part that so where we're moving.
Oh,
we're leaving Guardians of the Galaxy, and we are joining. We are joining the Russians, but we are joining
the Russians.
Soviet Russia.
In
Soviet space communism.
Joins you.
So the good news is there is an English-speaking component of the coalition. That's what we're joining. So we will be certainly working with Russians, but we will be surrounded by people who speak English. So it is not scary like that.
So besides the tradition of backstabbing each other and just breaking out into wanton civil war in space all the time, what I'm looking forward to is actually one of our new coalition alliance members. who we've covered on our own show, our own podcast, a while back ago. I will recuse myself from saying his name, but Hoots, he's gonna drive me nuts. He's gonna drive you nuts. And
I was in a flight with him
he's
the other
gonna
day.
want to come over to your house and have dinner because he does that.
So here's the thing. I was on a fleet with him the other day and it was totally fine. I loved it.
Oh my gosh.
I am pro DNS Black. I'm gonna say his name.
You said
I
his
am going
name.
to
It's like
summon
Beetlejuice. You say it 3
Voldemort.
times, he shows up to your house.
And wants dinner
Like,
in 10 minutes.
yeah, it's totally fine.
Oh. I'm sending you. Whenever there's a diplomatic incident and I shoot him, I'm going to send him your way, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it'll be
Because
fine.
you love that stuff.
Sure. That's very much so.
Lank, aren't all your ships named Diplomatic Incident?
No. No.
I now have this image of Lank owning a real world yacht in that getup named Diplomatic Incident.
Right? Yeah.
I'm actually gonna, now that you mentioned it, I'm gonna petition CCP and say, could you put in a blue like Navy sports coat and a Navy hat?
Yeah,
There
that'd
you go.
work.
I would totally dress on my avatar like that. And it's just like, because this is actually reminiscent of another fellow who plays EVE Online, the Big Red Boat, which, Hoots, please tell us a little bit about the Big Red Boat.
I don't know if the Big Red Boat is active very much. I would assume he is, but I haven't
he's
heard.
around.
Okay.
He's around.
I mean, he is a well-known fleet commander, FC for Goonswarm
Mhm.
Federation, and he was responsible for the Battle of Azakai, which is an event that caused a lot of new players to join. He had a Leviathan, which is a type of Titan, and in EVE, I think I've explained this before, but one of the many, many, many beautiful quirks of EVE Online's interface is for Titans, one of their capabilities is to bridge other ships. So it allows you to basically take another tinier spaceship and slingshot it to some destination point across space. And that's one of their abilities. And what the other one of their abilities is to take the Titan itself and jump to the same location to fling itself across space. And curiously enough, the button, I don't know if you've seen the GIFs of that terrible, tragic incident that was either earlier this year or late last year, where the Hawaii ended up getting those missile test alerts. Right, it was real tragic because of kind of an interface. So curiously, in EVE, the jump button and the bridge button are right next to one another, and the Big Red Boat was responsible for causing a massive battle because he clicked jump instead of bridge. It appeared in the middle of nowhere unsupported, and then 9 hours later there were a bunch of Titans dead, and it made headlines that brought a lot of people to the game. But the Big Red Boat is, I think, most lately, he has like an admiral's hat now that I think he wears when he's streaming on Twitch, and it's quite a get up, and I admire that 100%.
Yep. No, he sits there with his like Commodore's hat, sits there with his like I think he even has stripes and like epaulets.
He might, yeah. He had a full get up
sure.
that he wore to
like
FanFest one year.
You picked it up at a military supply store, but he sits there and he just does the whole like Napoleon thing. And his whole shtick is, of course, that he is barely competent, and he's hilarious.
That's his shtick.
So,
he's actually considerably more.
So this would be like Peter Sellers, running a boat or running a fleet.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. So, I mean, you and I have witnessed a Durr fleet.
Oh, that Durr. So you see, again, one of the great things about this game is that you meet space celebrities, space famous folks,
right?
And there are individuals out there that I can just mention, and like will make Hoots giggle. like Pro God Legend, PGL. And he was beside
And the Hot Wing Challenge.
Oh,
I don't.
jeez.
You missed
I heard
that.
about that.
You weren't
No, I heard
around.
about that. Yeah.
Like Link wasn't around for Pro God Legend's Hot Wing Challenge. He live streamed some sort of dumb Hot Wing Challenge rather than forming up a fleet, admittedly against like overwhelming odds. So instead, he did a Hot Wing Challenge for everyone in test. It was real great. I kind of approve.
Yeah, so silly things like this happen. Now, of course, it is Eve, so different groups have different levels of appropriateness. Luckily, we're now on a level that's more
Quote
appropriate,
unquote family friendly.
of course. But yeah, it's like it's you get a good FC, and it's just like it's an entertaining thing. It really
Yeah.
is.
Cool.
And I can think of many a fleet that I've been in with certain like colorful individuals, and it just makes me giggle and laugh or go, "Oh my god, I can't believe that actually happened." So whenever you do go
Very
to
cool.
like Eve Vegas or if you ever go to FanFest, sit there and just kind of going, "Remember the time you did this?"
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's like, "Thank you
All
for
right,
keeping
well-
me entertained. Here, let me buy you a tasty cold beverage."
Cool. Well, Hoots, so if people want to join you folks, what's the best way to get into the AIE Corporation in Eve?
Get interrogated.
I mean, just join the Discord channel and start yelling at me in public. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Not if there's a channel named public, don't yell at me in public. That's probably not
That would be amusing. Yeah. Let's not do that.
right.
No, that would be a Ron White routine. Anyway.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I was drunk in the bar. They threw me out in public.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than that, certainly you can sign up and put in an app in Umami, but again, probably or in the AIE Discord. If you yell at me in the Eve Embassy channel, that is another real good way to get a hold of me or any one of the officers, and we'll get you started and get you through the process of signing up for a billion services and getting you to play. And Lanktheris, unfortunately. So he just sent a message to the Discord for the AIE podcast in general, asking me about Curator, and I do not think the Irish potato dictator is currently playing Eve anymore. I think
that makes me
he's
so
winning.
sad.
It is, yeah, but I know his corp boob heads is not a thing anymore, and the culture I think was the last alliance that he might have been associated with, and that kind of went away. I don't believe he's active, but I could be wrong. Maybe he'll turn up and it turns out we're allied
Well,
with
one
him.
day
Who
hopefully
knows?
he stops winning Eve and comes back, because
Very good.
I stopped playing Eve and here I am again.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
All
what's
right.
the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
like Link. Oh, wait.
you blow up in space going backwards. Anyway.
That's a Ludrid here.
Oh, I know. All right. Well, I think that is going to be our show for tonight. We want to, while the chat room begins suggesting show titles, we do want to thank Hoots and Lank for joining us. You guys always make it entertaining. And McCullough, are there any shout outs?
We do have a shout out. Death Star Troopers is going to take down that Dreadmaster tonight in the Dread Palace.
Awesome.
Woohoo!
Preview of what they're going to do on Mandatory Fun Night next Tuesday. So
Yes.
awesome.
And, did we say how to find them yet?
If you are looking for Hoots, he is on as AIE Hoots on Twitter, and Lank is at Lanktheris.
Awesome. And if
But
you
again,
have questions
use
or
the-
comments for our show, you can email us at podcast@aie-guild.org. You can follow us on Twitter. The show is at AIE Podcast. Mew is at The Mew Cow. I am at Cyberwaif, and Tet is at Ivory Tiger. We record live with video every other Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join the chat room and play along with us on our website, aie-guild.org. Our podcast server for chat is bit.ly AIE Podcast Discord. Our theme was composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul or visit his website, keyswithsoul.com.
And now it's time to play all of the great AIE member segments we received this week, including Over the Dramatic News from
Woo!
And I'll have one finished tonight
And
as well.
Great.
yay! All right. So we'll add Altitis in there. Next time, we are going to be talking to Abavan about Final Fantasy XIV. So until then, AIE,
This is Makala.
This is Muko.
this is Tetsumi, and this has been the AIE Podcast.
59 minutes. And the doorbell.
Oh, and
just
there's
rang.
the doorbell.
Wow.
Look at that.
Very nice.
All right,
All
I'll
right.
get the doorbell.
Oh, I got it, baby.
Oh, it was funny watching you try to herd the cats.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, I know this is going to... Ah.
So you should know better.
Thank you guys for joining us. I know.
No, it is always a pleasure.
So, yeah, we love having both of you guys on. And thank you for bringing Lank. We love Lank stories. So,
I thought that would play really well.
oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yep, I couldn't join in as much because obviously I'm coughing way too much.
Yeah, no, understood. So I hope you get over that cold.
Well, I don't think it's cold. I think it's just like Houston has, or not Houston. Well, I'm thinking Houston because I was just watching the Houston Outlaws earlier.
Right.
Austin is full of every possible tree you can think of, and they all like to at one at a time they'll just poof, and you'll have pollen everywhere, and you'll be choked to death.
Right. Gotcha. Cool.
Well, gentlemen, I am, and I think it's just gentlemen at this point. I am going to log off and run away. It's been a pleasure as always. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
All right.
They ran away.
Yep. And I'm going to go ahead and kill the live stream, and we will talk in Discord and see if we can figure out some show titles. So we will talk to you guys later.
Woo-hoo.
Later.
Bye, chat room. Thanks, everyone.